It's Friday, June 12th. In the headlines, head of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Dr. Wayne Henry, urges flexible work to reduce fuel costs and boost resilience. In business news, business leaders expect higher inflation. Regionally, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States pushes regional integration, aims with victories at the 2026 World Cup. This is the Weekend News on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Planning Institute of Jamaica's Director General, Dr. Wayne Henry, is encouraging greater use of flexible, hybrid, and remote work arrangements as a way to reduce fuel consumption and strengthen Jamaica's economic resilience amid rising global oil prices. Speaking to Parliament's Economy and Production Committee this week, Dr. Henry said these work models should be viewed not only as workplace policies, but also as practical economic tools that can help cushion the impact of fuel price shocks. His comments come as tensions between the United States and Iran continues to drive increases in global oil prices.
If fewer people are required to commute daily, fuel consumption declines naturally. This reduces pressure on households, lowers transportation-related costs, and decreases national demand for imported fuel. This is where flexible, hybrid, and remote work arrangements become relevant.
The PIOJ chief says flexible work schedules, including staggered hours and compressed work weeks, can help reduce traffic congestion and fuel consumption, while remote work offers the greatest savings by eliminating daily commuting. Dr. Henry says hybrid work arrangements, which combine remote work with scheduled office attendance, are increasingly viewed as the best option.
Many researchers and organizations increasingly view hybrid work as the optimal middle ground because it captures many of the advantages of remote work, while preserving opportunities for face-to-face collaboration. Employees commute fewer days per week, reducing fuel consumption and transportation costs.
He argues particularly that as Jamaica continues to recover from Hurricane Melissa, reducing dependence on imported fuel should form part of the country's broader strategy to manage economic risks and improve resilience. The government is preparing to take the next step in its crime-fighting strategy with plans to transition Jamaica's zones of special operations, or ZOZOs, into what are being called zones of peace and opportunity. A comprehensive study, backed by funding from the Inter-American Development Bank, will assess the impact of the 7 ZOZOs and help shape their future. Here's more.
Speaking in the House of Representatives on Wednesday, National Security Minister Dr. Harris Chang says a comprehensive review of Jamaica's 7 zones of special operations will begin in July, examining their impact and helping to shape the transition to zones of peace and opportunity.
Madam Speaker, this research will provide the government with a robust empirical understanding of the effectiveness of the zone. It will allow us to determine what has worked, what has not, and how best to scale the most effective elements across the country. Critically, it will inform and guide our transition to the zones of peace and opportunity. The objectives of this research include, among other things, to assess not only the financial costs and benefits of the zones, but also to quantify their social and environmental impact.
Dr. Chang says the initiative reflects the government's commitment to building safer communities through opportunity and development.
This government places high value on evidence-based decision-making as we continue efforts to build safer, stronger, and more resilient communities. Peace is not dependent on permanent police military presence, but sustained through opportunity, inclusion, and development.
The move received support from both sides of the House, with opposition leader Mark Golden welcoming the planned assessment.
You've indicated you're looking to transition to something a bit different, which I welcome that. And you're doing some database analysis as to how they've worked over the time that you've deployed them, which is also very good, and we're looking forward to seeing the results of that.
Parliament has also approved a 6-month extension of the 7 ZOZOs until December 19, 2026. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says communities such as Denham Town continue to benefit from the program.
The community of Denham Town is a better community today for the zones of special operations. Despite a few incidents here and there, Madam Speaker, the community have benefited significantly from that intervention.
Government officials say crime has declined in ZOZO communities since the first zone was established in Mount Salem in 2017. The findings of the upcoming review are expected to help determine the program's future direction. For the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
Scientists are warning that Jamaica's natural defenses against hurricanes have been weakened by the impact of Hurricane Melissa, increasing the country's vulnerability to future storms. During a recent webinar hosted by HEDE, experts highlighted significant damage to critical ecosystems. Professor Dale Webber from the University of the West Indies Center for Marine Sciences explains why reefs matter.
And it's because of their three-dimensional structure, meaning think of a mountain on land. As the wind comes up against it with some trees, it slows down the wind and it changes what that wind can do. It's the same with water, with currents, with waves. And a hurricane or any kind of tropical storm produces those kind of waves. What we've done is we've looked at what NEPA has put out. NEPA, in their 2020 report for State of Coral Reefs, has stated that the coral reefs in Jamaica are in a bad shape.
Environmental officials say the country's reefs were already under pressure before Hurricane Melissa struck.
What we're talking about is not just isolated tree damage. We're looking at entire landscapes that have been removed, and the scale of the impact impacts not just the forest services, but the other critical services such as the watershed protection, slope stabilization, biodiversity conservation, and resilience to climate change as well. The scale of the damage just speaks to the fact that we cannot do business as usual as the Forestry Department.
National Environment and Planning Agency's Anthony McKenzie says these natural systems help absorb the impact of storms before they reach communities along the coastline.
How we can, in the face of these hurricanes, how we can go out immediately after to support the salvaging of some of these reef structures, because apparently there is a little hope where that is concerned. If we're able to salvage some, restructure them, paste them up down in the substrate and so on within 45 days.
Head of the Jamaica Environment Trust, Dr. Theresa Rodriguez-Moody, says the damage goes beyond the trees and affects ecosystems that help protect watersheds, coastlines, and communities.
Women and children are more impacted. We have older people are more impacted. This is also where data is important. Are we mapping that in a way that we understand and are able to, whenever there is a storm, or whenever there is an event that is approaching, how much of that information that is being mapped in terms of where are our vulnerable people, where are our more or lower income communities, and are we able to respond quickly?
The experts were speaking during a recent HEDE National Resilience Dialogue, examining Jamaica's recovery from Hurricane Melissa and the country's preparedness for future climate threats. They argue that protecting coral reefs, mangroves, and forests is not only an environmental issue, but also an important part of protecting people and communities from future storms. From managing finances to finding a career, many people say real-life challenges go beyond the classroom. Chanel Matthews took to the streets and asked members of the public whether they believe school adequately prepares students for life after graduation.
I am Chanel Matthews and this is Unfiltered. School is where we spend most of our early years. Do you think school prepares us for real life?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yes and no.
Somewhat.
No, I don't.
Do you think school prepares you for real life?
It does, to a certain extent. Work experience to some extent also kind of meshes. So how you're organized, how you prepare yourself for certain things, meetings, all of these things are starting from like the school. So how you learn things, how you apply those things, those will all help you later in life when you're doing your work.
Somewhat. As it relates to book-wise, you get that from school, and street lessons, you learn them in the street. So as it relates to book, that's school, but not everything you can rely on school to get the lessons from.
Yes, I do, especially high school, the whole college experience, all that. I feel like just going through first form to fifth form, you experience so much, it changes you. Because the moment you step into high school and the moment you leave high school, you definitely leave a different person. All those experience, all those academic stress, then it turns into monetary stress in a real life. So it definitely does prepare you.
No, I don't. Been through school and see what is happening. No, I don't think that school prepare you for the real world. You can go to school for the education, but for practical things, I don't think it prepare you for the real world, because what they teach you in school is not what is reality. You see out there, they teach you based on book. What is in the book when you reach out there and on the streets, it's a different thing. They teach you to be kind and all of that. And yes, you can be kind, but there are some things that people will take disadvantage of you. So you have to be practical. You help somebody and they will treat you bad, right? And where school, when like them looking up, treating you outside, what I learned in school is totally different thing from outside.
Yeah, education is the key. But I just show to my people them now getting to work when they have them big education.
No, I don't think so. Because I feel like school sugarcoat what the real world actually is. Being an adult now and in the real world, not what them teach me at school no make sense. Now I work out. Subject CXC, I feel like I those qualifications, but otherwise I'm that. Them not give with the brain power and stuff like that for manage what the real world bring.
It have its space, yes. School it can work, but at the same time, I think experience and knowledge and skills are the better thing. Because having a degree is one thing, but if you don't have the skill set, you can't do the work.
What they teach you in school is basically to go back to school to learn how to come out in the work world. But when you come out in the work world, it's a different thing.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. In the Bank of Jamaica's March 2026 survey of business inflation expectations, businesses are expecting inflation to rise to 7.1% next year, above the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%, set by the Government of Jamaica. The majority of respondents forecast the bank's policy rate 3 months ahead to remain the same. The proportion of respondents who were of this view decreased relative to the previous survey. The 90-day Treasury bill yield 3 months ahead was also forecast to be at 6.1%, in line with the previous survey result of 6.1%. In this clip, we watch Stephen Price, Vice President and General Manager of Flow, announced a big shift in Jamaica's mobile technology.
Blazing fast 5G coverage is now live across Kingston, Portmore, Spanish Town, Maypen, and the entire North Coast. 5G deployment is also taking place in additional communities with Mandeville, Santa Cruz, Black River, right? And you know where we're coming from. Savlamar, Bull Bay, Morant Bay and its environs scheduled for rollout between now and the end of the month.
For the trading period of June 11, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Dollar Financial Services Limited with 487,675,188 units, representing 92.41% of market sales activities. Kentai Holdings Jamaica Limited with 16,620,353 units, representing 3.15% of market sales activities. AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited with 4,902,924 units, representing 0.93% of market sales activity. Investor activity remained concentrated in packaging, distribution, and finance plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market, based on Bank of Jamaica data, for June 11, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. The US dollar saw trading margins reflecting steady liquidity, with the US selling at $157.62 and buying at $159.35. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by $1.29 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $113.61 and was bought for $112.32. The British pound experienced continued volatility and offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.34 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $213.66 and was bought for $212.32. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, many people dream of traveling, but more assume they need a bigger income or a dedicated travel fund to make it happen. While saving is important, there's another strategy that often goes unnoticed: using your credit profile strategically. Your credit report, credit score, and credit card choices can work together to help reduce travel costs and earn rewards that move you closer to your travel goals. The key is knowing where to start. Before choosing a credit card, decide what type of travel you want to achieve. So ask yourself, do you want free flights? Do you travel frequently for business? Would hotel rewards be more valuable? Are you planning a family vacation? Your travel goals should determine your reward strategy, not the other way around. If you want to use credit to support your travel goals, don't start with the credit card. Start with the credit report. Then build your credit score. Then choose the right rewards cards. Then put your everyday spending to work. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, leaders and policymakers across the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States are being urged to remove the barriers preventing a true regional integration. During a regional webinar on free movement and economic union, officials highlighted the need for stronger political commitment, modern border systems, and coordinated policies to ensure citizens can move seamlessly across member states. More details in this GBN News report.
The focus of Wednesday's webinar was on finding the bottlenecks to true regional integration, whether in legislation not yet enacted, training not yet delivered, data systems not yet connected, or a lack of political will. OECS Director General Dr. DIGI called for honesty about which obstacles can realistically be addressed in the next 12 months.
The measure of the OECS Economic Union is not found in our treaties. It is found in the experience of an ordinary OECS citizen, a nurse who moves from Grenada to St. Lucia and is treated with dignity at the border. A family that reunifies across our islands without losing access to schooling or healthcare.
Dr. Jews noted that citizens who have faced travel barriers are watching the principal officers tasked with implementing regional integration, so the webinar must answer what needs to be done and who will take responsibility. Calvin St. Just, Executive Chairman of the Citizenship by Investment in St. Kitts and Nevis, stressed that free movement must be supported by systems that are seamless and secure. Drawing from their own experience, St. Just said, digital transformation is not just about installing new technology, but also about ensuring institutional readiness.
Now, this is where technology becomes essential. Modern border systems, including pre-arrival digital processes, the use of electronic travel authorization, advanced passenger information, and biometric processing, these are critical to allow governments to move away from fragmented, paper-heavy, and manual-intensive processes. It requires coordination between immigration, customs, national security, technology providers, data protection authorities, and political leadership. It also requires public trust.
Addressing the possibility of forced displacement due to natural disasters or climate change, Sarah Rosengartner, Deputy Managing Director of the Global Center for Climate Mobility, stated that all such forms of movement will need to be governed.
And the cross-border dimension, again, has both an emergency management component, where countries need to look at how are they prepared to respond to people coming in potentially in larger numbers and over a short period of time, but then has a component of preparing for the larger shifts that may happen that are potentially more economically driven.
She emphasized that people may move because of disasters, but often end up staying longer due to the advantages within the OECS framework.
Now, that has obviously implications for the region in terms of thinking about social cohesion in the longer run, how future movements may be shaped by the presence of people that have stayed in country. But it also points towards policy challenges that arise around issues like land and housing, for example, that are critical for climate resilience.
Rosengartner also highlighted the need for policy cohesion across the multiple sectors within the OECS. I am Gerald Joseph reporting.
Residents of St. Kitts and Nevis are being urged to conserve water as drought conditions persist and forecasts point to a drier than normal rainy season. Authorities say below average rainfall linked to regional climate patterns is expected to place further pressure on water supplies, even as government continues investments to strengthen the nation's water infrastructure. Television Caribbean's Glenn Bart reports.
Citizens and residents continue to be reminded of drought conditions and the need to be conservative in the use of water and to restrict the use of potable water for non-essential activities. According to recent information provided by the St. Kitts and Nevis Meteorological Services, the so-called wet season is highly likely to result in low rainfall. Regional climate experts believe the Caribbean region would experience rainfall reduction of over 60% in the Eastern Caribbean and elsewhere in the region. In April, an official disclosed St. Kitts recorded just 1.5 inches of rainfall for a period that normally results in a little over 4 inches of rainfall. Drought emergencies and watches are affecting the ABC Islands, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Nevis. In a recent Issues SKN aired on Freedom FM 106.5 and hosted by Jamiela McPhail, Congress Maynard, Minister of Government with responsibility for water resources, addressed the nature of the current situation.
Based on the predictions, it is expected that the upcoming rainy season will be below normal. So it means that we're not expected to get the type of rainfall that we are accustomed to. So that's disheartening. But fortunately, we are putting the things in place to be a bit more resilient in these times. I want to encourage persons to also play their part. One, conservation. Ensure that you're being conservative with the water that you use. We're asking our consumers to pay your bill, be a part of the solution. That will then give the government the opportunity to do all of the other expansions that we have to do, because obviously they cost money. So if you play your part, we will do our part as well. And that is why we pursue this water agenda. We invested significantly, millions and millions of dollars to bring us to this point, but we still have more work to do. And we appreciate that and we understand the frustrations, but we are doing the work.
International climate scientists explain that a strong weather system operating in the eastern Pacific Ocean, referred to as a Super El Nino, is affecting weather patterns over the Caribbean and into the Atlantic Ocean, creating also the wind shear conditions in high atmospheric levels that hamper the formation of hurricanes, hence the expected reduction in the number of named storms for this year's Atlantic hurricane season. Glenn Bart reporting for Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40.
We headline our sports report with football. Mexico made a winning start to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, defeating South Africa 2-0 in the tournament's opening match at Mexico City Stadium on Thursday. Julian Raúl Jiménez added a second as Mexico secured. Several Jamaican college athletes will be seeking collegiate glory when the second and final day of competition for male athletes at the National Collegiate Athletics Association Division 1 Outdoor Track and Field Championships comes to an end in Oregon. Demario Prince, along with 800-meter runners Tyrese Taylor and Rivaldo Marshall, were the only Jamaicans to advance to today's finals following semi-final action on Wednesday. Prince will contest the men's 110-meter hurdles final at 7:42 p.m. Jamaica time, after finishing second in his heat. Teammates Taylor and Marshall of Arkansas University will be hoping for big points for their team when they contest the 800-meter final at 8:14 p.m. Jamaica time. Jamaica will be well represented in the field event finals today, with 6 men down to compete in the discus and 1 in the triple jump. And that's the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. Thank you so much for watching.